What's up everybody, and welcome to Guns N' Roses Central, and we've got another video we're going to be doing in the Guns N' Roses True Story series on my channel. So the song we're talking about today is Garden of Eden, and this song is the 12th track off Use Your Illusion 1. There's a total of 16 tracks on Use Your Illusion 1, and I've always, when I started becoming a Guns N' Roses fan, I always got this song confused with The Garden. And then it took me a while to learn which song was which song, and I've actually already done a retrospective of The Garden, so it's up on my channel. And just for your reference, The Garden is the 11th track off the album. So Garden of Eden was written by Axl Rose and Slash, and it's one of the shortest songs on Use Your Illusion 1. It clocks in under 3 minutes. It was written in 1989 when the band was rehearsing for an extended period of time in Chicago. They had basically went to Chicago to get out of LA and get away from any distractions and have somewhere nice and quiet to write the follow-up album to GNR Lies. So they had rented this rehearsal space in Chicago where, you know, they thought they could start working on the next set of tracks for the Illusions records. Now, things didn't really go quite as planned when Guns N' Roses got to Chicago because not all the band members were there. You know, Izzy was in and out. Axl didn't show up until the very end. And, you know, Slash, Duff, and Steven were really the core group of guys who were living in Chicago and rehearsing at the time. In fact, there's a really good article up about the summer that Guns N' Roses spent in Chicago, and it was mostly spent by them rehearsing, going to the bar below the rehearsal space, or there was sort of a nightclub they had, and basically picking up women and drinking. And then they also had drugs with them too. They would have cocaine actually in the rehearsal space where they were staying. They had rented a 2-bedroom apartment at that time. And, you know, funny enough, you know, you think in 1989 Guns N' Roses were sort of on top of the world. They had Appetite for Destruction, and they also had GNR Lies, which had sold really well. But, you know, it's kind of weird. In Slash's book, and from every account I've read, you know, in Chicago, Guns N' Roses weren't really that big of a deal. Even in, I think it was either Duff or Slash's book, they talk about how the scene that they were staying at in Chicago, that scene was all about Nine Inch Nails and Ministry and this different kinds of rock music that Guns N' Roses wasn't really a part of. And, you know, the guys in the band who were staying in Chicago were kind of just like regular Joes. They'd even go to the gym together, Duff and Slash, and they would pump iron in an effort to sort of stay in shape, apart from all the drinking and drugs that they were doing at the time. And, you know, Garden of Eden was one of the songs they actually wrote during their time in Chicago, alongside Estranged and Bad Apples. And even in Slash's book, he's pretty blunt about saying, listen, the time I spent in Chicago was pretty much a waste of time. Sure, they came up with a couple good tracks, but that was really it. But that was something that him and Axl sort of had a disagreement about. Slash didn't think it was productive. Axl thought they did some great work, and then Slash sort of bailed out prematurely. And then, you know, back in 1993, Guns N' Roses released Garden of Eden Strictly Limited Edition. This came out in May of 1993, and it was only 10 minutes long. It's really a collector's item if you're Guns N' Roses fans, because they only released this in 93. They never re-released it later on. And basically it just features different videos released by Guns N' Roses between 1992 and 93. So the videos for Garden of Eden and Dead Horse were actually included on this compilation, in addition to the live version of Yesterdays that Guns N' Roses played at the American Music Awards. Now, Guns weren't actually at the American Music Awards. They had simulcast their concert in Vegas the same night. And this is the only commercial release of that actual live performance of Yesterdays, if you don't include the audio track that was included on Live Era in 1999. Now, according to Wikipedia, bootleg recordings are available from various sources, including DVD releases. And then, as you guys know, there's also a video for Garden of Eden. So Garden of Eden is a unique Guns N' Roses video because when you look at songs like Don't Cry, you look at songs like November Rain and Estranged, they're very dramatic videos. You can tell they spent a lot of time filming these. Garden of Eden was probably one of the easiest videos they ever filmed. They filmed it in one take. They used a fisheye lens. They actually filmed it the same day that they filmed the videos for Yesterdays. They had rented an empty warehouse, and, you know, it was early in the morning, and they thought, well, why don't we just film another music video? And that's what the band had said during a Greek TV special that aired in 1993. And there were basically Matt Sorum, I think it was Matt Sorum who told the story, basically said they were tired, but they said, you know what, why don't we just do another video, crank another one out? And that's what they did. And even though they did the video really quickly, there's two versions of the video that exist. There's one that you see on the Welcome to the Videos release that was released in 1998. That was a compilation of all of the music videos that Guns N' Roses released, and that version featured the lyrics scrolling on the bottom of the screen with the bouncing ball. And then the other version of the song that actually exists is the one where you basically have paper floating through the air. And that one has been available on websites like yahoo.com and so forth. But I was able to find both versions of the actual music video. The one that's on the Guns N' Roses VEVO channel is neither version. I think it's basically the same version with the scrolling lyrics and the bouncing ball, but they've removed those. And then there's, of course, the flying paper version, and then there's the one with the bouncing ball as well on YouTube. And then I actually found a video somebody uploaded of the actual live premiere of the song on MTV, which was pretty cool. And, you know, it's funny to watch videos back in the day when they're premiering music videos that, you know, now in this day and age have been around for like 25 years or something. So I've linked to that video down below. I've also linked to the video from Beavis and Butthead where they're actually talking about the music video. I used to watch Beavis and Butthead back in the day, but I haven't watched it in ages now. But looking back, it was kind of nostalgic to watch it and see, like, I guess they were big fans of Axl at that time. And then if you guys ever wondered who the people dancing in the background of the music video are, that's Teddy and Andreas, and then that's also Dizzy Reed dancing in the background. I originally thought it was Tracy and Roberta, but then I read online somewhere that was actually Dizzy and Teddy. And the other thing I noticed is that if you guys carefully watch Matt Sorum, it looks like there's some parts that he's not playing identical to the actual album. I mean, typically when Matt Sorum plays a song, he deviates a bit from the actual album version, but there's a couple of noticeable parts where it seems like he's not playing it note for note. Now, the video was directed by Andy Morahan, the same guy who directed Don't Cry, November Rain, and Estranged. Now, the first known live performance of this song was in Austin, Texas in February of '93, and Austin, Texas was the first show that Guns N' Roses played as part of the Skin and Bones tour. So they didn't have the backup singers, they didn't have the horn section, they didn't have Teddy and Andreas, and it was also, I believe, the first show where Brian May was actually the opening act for Guns N' Roses. And for the most part, it was a good show. It's kind of a rare show. There's not a lot of audio footage of the show available, but there is audio footage. There is audio of the actual performance that when they played it for the first time, and it's pretty obvious why they didn't play Garden of Eden a whole lot live. It's pretty hard on Axl's vocals, and it's just like Don't Damn Me or Locomotive or Coma. It's a pretty hard song to sing. And I highly recommend you guys listen to the live version, if not just for the song. This guy who put up the live version has some incredibly rare Guns N' Roses photos that even I haven't seen before, so it's definitely worth checking out. Check the description box down below for the link. So Garden of Eden has only been played live twice. The only two times it's been played was, of course, the first show of the Skin and Bones tour, and then the second show of the Skin and Bones tour, which is in Birmingham, Alabama. And that show was special because towards the end of the show, Axl actually left the stage because he blew out his voice, and that was because the stage monitors were turned off, causing him to sing louder than normal. And then Axl later fired the sound engineer who forgot to turn the monitors on. And even after Axl left the stage, the band continued playing Led Zeppelin's Communication Breakdown and playing It's So Easy with Duff singing. And then following that concert, the next 4 or 5 concert dates were actually canceled, and they were originally rescheduled, and some of them they weren't able to make up, but some of them they were. And then the following concert that Guns did actually play was in New Haven, Connecticut, which is available on YouTube in its entirety. It's one of Guns' best concerts from 1993 if you guys are looking for some really good shows. Now there are 2 demos of the songs on YouTube. There's one from the Mates Rehearsal Studio, which it features Steven Adler on drums, and it does sound like a different song, of course, with Steven, and there's no vocals on this track. And then there's also Axl's advanced copy demo available as well. Now this one is not purely instrumental, it's also got Axl's vocals on it, but you can tell it's definitely mixed differently, and it doesn't sound like the album version. So I've linked to both demos down below for you guys to go check out. And just a little tidbit of trivia for you guys, or knowledge. So Mates Rehearsal Studio is the exact same rehearsal studio where VEVO Revolver was auditioning singers back in 2002, 2003. If you guys ever watched the YouTube documentary, The Rise of VEVO Revolver, there's so many camera shots of, you can see the outside of the rehearsal studio saying Mates Rehearsal Studio. And according to songmeanings.com, there's a really good post about what the song actually means. And one poster says, the Garden of Eden is about criticism of the system as it works, manipulating people with religion and entertainment to prevent them from revolting against oppression. In this sense, I would link it with Peace Sells from Megadeth. Axl expresses that society is sick, it does not work functionally, and because he uses the word mental disease, world on the edge. Because changing what's wrong with it would only cost greedy leaders their powers, they refuse to acknowledge the truth and lie about the real situation. And he uses the line, lies there sell to you. And he also says that because people are feeling something is wrong, they try to distract them from political issues with religion, medias, and drugs. The "it's not a problem you solve, it's rock and roll" line really actually reckons that rock and roll and its lifestyle, by superficially relieving people from their everyday life problem, encourages them to do nothing. So in a way, Axl is almost part of the problem. So let's see where the song ranks on the Guns N' Roses song list, ranked from worst to best. According to Ultimate Guitar World, which just compared the Illusion songs, they think Garden of Eden is the 5th best song on both albums combined, which is a pretty strong statement. It wouldn't probably be in my top 5, but maybe in my top 10. And according to Spin.com, they ranked all of Guns N' Roses' 80-plus songs, and they ranked Garden of Eden as number 22. So that does it for my look at the Garden of Eden, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Did you learn anything? Comment down below. And where does it rank on your top 10 list? Is it even in your top 10 list? Let me know in the comment section, and make sure you subscribe for the latest Guns N' Roses news and anything related to Guns N' Roses. And be sure to follow me on Twitter at Guns N' Roses Daily. I will follow you guys back. Take care.